Hello and welcome to the November 2023 Falling Leaves Moon or Frost Moon crystal grid build. The theme of this build is going to be finding warmth in the winter's approach. Because as we know, being warm during the winter time is crucial and vital to our health, safety, and well-being. But it's finding that warmth not only physically, but emotionally, mentally, having that space to kind of free yourself up a little bit. And I don't know about any of you, but the last month or so was kind of an ass kicker. So going into a point where we're finding some warmth and comfort after doing some rather unpleasant business is going to be much appreciated, especially going into December. It just feels like it's going to be even colder, so keeping and maintaining that warmth is important and vital, because coming into the new year is going to be kind of on the punchy side. So with that being said, without further ado, let's take a moment here and let's call in the directions, set the stage, get ourselves prepared, create the space that's needed for this warmth to come in. Let us start with the east, to the wind, to the dragon's wing, to new beginnings, movement, freedom, all the things that fly, soar, and glide, to the great ancestors, or not ancestors, the ascended masters and teachers that just exist in the ethereal. We call and we welcome you in to help show us and guide us to new directions. To the south, to the fire, to the dragon's flame, to creation, passion, light, destruction, transformation, amongst all else. We call in this fire to bring our warmth, to bring this heat, this light that we're going to need as we enter into and fully embrace this time of darkness and cold. And to the west, to the earth, to the ground beneath our feet, to the great serpent's belly and skin, and all the creatures, great and small, big and tall, everything that's ever existed, everything that will eventually exist, all that never has gotten the opportunity to survive and thrive, all those who have come before us and all those who have yet to be, all of that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, we call and we welcome you in. And to the north, to the water, to the Leviathan scale, to all the creatures who live in, on, and under the depths of the waves, to all the waters, great and small, from the tiniest trickle of a stream to the great, deep, roaring oceans, that vastness of emotion and wisdom, that endlessness, that provider of all life. Because if without water we would not be. Because just as much as the heat and the fuel of fire is important, so is that of the water to cool and comfort. to the Mother Earth, the provider of all, the giver of our lives, the makers of our being. We ask that you come to surround us with your warmth, love, and protection so we may create our own peace, balance, and serenity. And to the sky, Father, above, whomever you may call them, for they have many names, and respond to them all. We ask for your guidance and your divinity to be breathed upon us so that we may see, hear, speak, and feel with your eternal wisdom and understanding. And lastly, to the essence of the now, to the here, because the past is gone, the future does not exist. All that is here and now, for it's these moments that are constantly within creation that we decide how they become. And without further ado, allow us to take our first steps into this coming grid, to this energy that we're bringing in with us. As you saw, I placed here in the center a lovely Apophyllite tower. This is not quartz, but something wholly different. Apophyllite always grows in these nice, lovely pyramidal shapes. And it comes from an ancient Greek, which means to flake, because when it is heated up, it'll actually fall apart. It is a stimulator of metaphysical abilities, especially past life work. It's a powerful vibrational transmitter, an efficient conductor of energy. It helps to release negative blocks and patterns and suppressed emotion. It helps to remove the healer's ego from healing sessions. It's a third eye crown and high crown stone. Its primary component in its chemistry is potassium and calcium, which are very important to our own health and our own energy and our own well-being. So the crystallized version of that is just as potent and important. This is a very higher chakra stone. So it's really bringing in this kind of awareness and helping to, just really helping to bring your ego out of a situation when you're needing to do difficult work. Next, we're shifting to a big boy, you could say. This is a personal favorite stone of mine. This is Aragonite. These columnar crystal formations allow it so that when you put any kind of energy or light into it, it absorbs it in and then it sends it out through every single one of these open faces. And actually, if these weren't kind of polished down into this flat surface that you see, which you kind of achieve by a light tumbling, these would actually be long, fibrous crystals that are quite delicate. But Aragonite here is a great stone to help work with Mother Earth, doing any kind of grounding or earth healing. It helps to center our physical energies, calming oversensitivity, and helping to settle floaty people back into their body. It helps to warm the limbs and relax nervous twitching. It helps to evenly distribute energy through the body, as you see with all the faces on it. It hits everything at the same time. It stabilizes spiritual growth that's too fast, so it distributes that again throughout the whole system and not just streamlining through because we just want to get to the end. And it also helps to promote pragmatic approaches to life and doing a little bit of delegation, because it's never wrong to ask for help. You don't need to do everything by yourself. Before I go too further, I'm going to quickly grab these two lovely chunks of serpentine, because that is another component to this current grid. It is a stone said to protect against venomous animal bites. It's good for like trance work, rituals, and any kind of shamanism, especially if you have any kind of Celtic background or heritage. It's great for meditation and understanding the spirituality of life, opens up the kundalini, helps to find control in your life by correcting mental, emotional imbalance and focusing on healing the problem at hand. So, and that's kind of what we're going to be doing with all of this fire energy that's going to be introduced here, because it's all about trying to keep things warm and flowing. And serpentine is going to kind of keep that in focus, as well as serpentine being a stone of transformation and change, like the snake shedding up its own skin. So what that's going to do is it's going to help pull away anything that's blocking us from doing our growth into receiving this warmth that we're trying to bring in during this season. And I actually hadn't I thought about this, is like, if you see something that's still like a snake with its old skin on, you think, oh, maybe that's just an extra layer and it can help keep it warm. But what's really happening is that dead skin on the outside is creating this layer that allows things like moisture to get in. And when it's cold and you have trapped moisture underneath a layer, like if you've ever gone out sledding in the snow and you all of a sudden got snow down your pants, if you have that happen within the first 10 minutes, you're done. Like, you don't want to be there anymore. You're uncomfortable. That's not pleasant. So by taking time to actually remove that skin to clear ourselves up, it helps us to actually be warmer and more receptive to heat, not creating a barrier in between you and that warmth trying to get in. And speaking of that warmth, let's bring in fire agate. Now the camera's not going to do these things much justice, but there's a bit of sheen to these. That's all on the inside. I'm going to see if I can get it wet a little bit. This is the best one. But it's like you see all that on the inside, that kind of flash and flare. That is the fire within the agate. This is another deep earth connector. Helps to bring in security, safety, and calm. It's a strong ground. It's very supportive during difficult times. It's very protective against ill wishes. Helps to build a protective shield and remove curses and attachments. It's good to help relaxation. It represents perfection, instilling spiritual fortitude, and facilitates conscious evolution. And again, linking into that fire energy, assisting in sexual endeavors or stimulating vitality in life. Anything that you can kind of see and associate with fire, fire agate does. It's kind of inherent in its name. We're going to kind of put that within the center here because we want this warmth, we want this heat. Ooh. At the core of this cycle, because we need its warmth, we need this stability here, we need this fortitude. And of course things are going to be a weird funky number, not work nice, but that's just how it goes sometimes. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Then again, to kind of bring in a more solary, fiery energy, we're going to be bringing in another stone we've worked with plenty of times. Tiger's Eye. Tiger's Eye is a both earth energy and sun energy, so it's bringing that solar energy down into the earth, helping to ground it, stabilize it, facilitates assertion and anchoring change into the body. It helps to facilitate the correct use of power, supporting integrity and accomplishing goals. It helps to differentiate wishful thinking and what one really needs in life to achieve. Because a lot of times we have all these great goals and desires and ideas, but they're not really feasible. They're not practical. So Tiger's Eye is going to kind of come in and help to ground this change into reality, to make it a little bit more pragmatic in its approach. Let's see. Do we want to put in more of the serpentine now? I think so. And whenever working with serpentine, I kind of like to use the whole variety of the stone. So we have our typical, oh, that's a green stone. We have everything from our noble serpentines, this lighter, softer green. We have your typical dark, not quite gemmy, but just very dark, almost jade-like serpentine. We have these conglomerates here of the variations in colors. We have a more of a light gray style, which is the infinite variety, which tends to work, again, higher up into the chakras, being a little bit more angelic with its energy. And also, we have dragonstone, or dragon's bloods, or dragon serpentine, or dragon's blood jasper, all kind of the same thing, all slightly different. But you kind of get the picture. With that being said, we're going to just take and extend everything out here just a little bit. Bring all this to the edge. love Serpentine. It's just so calming and soothing. Just really helping to make that change that's coming in our lives just a little bit easier, you know? Can always use a little help from our friends. We can just pop these guys down in here. And then these guys, I'll just take coming out of here. Boop, boop. Shimmy those down, go. Boop. Shimmy, 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 boop. And lastly, is another very personal favorite we've used plenty of times before, but amber. Amber is a very sacred stone. It's been used for centuries. They would actually, this was the original incense, because what is incense but solidified tree resin? This is tree resin that's become solidified and fossilized. It's said to, if you rub this against fur or wool or silk, it can actually obtain an electrical charge and hold that charge for a while. It's a great earth connector, helping to ground the higher spiritual energies. It's a healer and cleanser, helps to draw disease and negative energy out and then transmute it into a more positive healing force. It's also very protective and healing for healers, because we have a tendency to put our health and well-being to the side as we take care of and help and heal others. But if we don't take care of ourselves, how are we going to be of any use to anyone else? Not to mention, amber is a great soothing stone. We have bracelets and things that we give infants to help them as they're teething, because it's soft and kind of enjoyable for them. Not as well as by being able to absorb disease and illnesses, it helps to improve our immune system and help keep us healthier by keeping and pulling away anything that's going to detrimentally affect us. And I think I want to go grab a couple pieces more. Where did I put you guys? Amber. Where's my bag of amber? Well, I don't know where my amber is at this moment, so we're gonna just make do with what I have. I'm sure this will pop up somewhere. My favorite thing about amber is sometimes you can get a piece like this from the Baltic Sea that you clearly have the nice dark amber, almost black, to that color we know is amber. And as you look inside here, this little white patch is actually some kind of organic inclusion that I'm not certain if it's like a spider's nest or like a piece of cotton or something. All I know is it's cool. And it makes this one of my favorite pieces that I have. Now we see we got this emptiness around here that we're going to go and grab something to fill up. What sounds good? Do we want kyanite? Do we want some quartz? We could do smoky quartz. We could do some citrine. I mean, if we want to keep bringing in some of that more warmer energy, I don't see why citrine would not be a good idea. Let's go grab some. I'll just shimmy this like that. Ooh. I need an actual arm thing. You guys are in my pockets. My pockets. My pockets. Okay. And now let's bring it back around town. That probably isn't going to translate over well, but we'll make do. Okay, let's get these bad boys set up. And yeah, we're using some of the more interesting citrines first. We're putting in these bigger clusters, my kundalinis, because we've already got that showing up a little bit with both the amber and the serpentine. So let's kind of work to maintain that. So you might have a bit of a kundalini type energy coming through this month, but we are doing that change and that transformation. So why not use the kundalini a little bit? Give it a little extra love and attention in all of its great, wonderful glory. Yeah. Now this is fairly simple. It is very concise. But I also was working to make it seem and have that feel of a campfire, fire pit, a ritual fire, because that sacred fire, that sacred flame is what burns and fuels us from the inside. It is that spark of life. It is that sense of passion. And it's what brings us all together. It's that spark that leads us to one another. Because we know those and recognize those who don't have that spark, who don't have that internal flame trying to guide them to something greater and to something better, to improving oneself versus getting into this work to excuse oneself, making excuses to why you are the way you are, or using your skills and abilities to project your trauma onto other people's instead of taking them in for yourself, really analyzing and learning them. That's what this is all about. This is very much a energy of finding, rekindling, and establishing that internal spark, that internal flame to keep us warm, because we can't always rely on others to give us that spark, to give us that warmth. So if we have it for ourselves, we provide it for ourselves. We attract and find other people who are doing the same. And we need more of those. We need more warm souls around ourselves, because it's getting dark, both in the sense of the season and what's going on in the world. And there's not really too much we can do about it other than align ourselves and collect ourselves with other like-minded, warm, transformative, creative, passionate people. So with that being said, I'll shimmy over here. Get a little smudgy smudge. Let's go and just now I'm going to have to be very careful not to get any of this sparking and flaming near those apophyllite. Don't need them splitting on me. I've seen it happen just by holding apophyllite too long. Because I'm sure a lot of you, when you get into this kind of work and spirituality as a whole, you notice you get a lot hotter. You generate a whole bunch more heat. You think about helping somebody, or you just straight up touch them in a hug, in a handshake, in healing work, and all of that. And they're like, wow, you got such warm hands. They just don't want to let go. It's a sign of being a healer, folks. Our little grid buddy. Little grid buddy, lay down here. Chill out, my friend. Let's take and get things spinning. Make sure this is all uniform and on the same page. Because we're trying to ground in and pull this heat and warmth and fire of the sun, pull it down into the earth as it's getting cold. I've actually got this spinning backwards right now. Didn't even notice that until I started moving things. And there is a lot of grounded, secure energy here, but it doesn't help to make sure it's stabilized together and flowing together, both up and down. The sun is coming to warm our bodies because it's about to get real cold. Real cold and real gnarly. This isn't just in like a weather sense, but we'll notice changes in people who are the ones who don't have that inner spark and that inner warmth. So they'll see it in you and see you gathering with those who share that energy. And they will try to take it from you. But we're being surrounded and protected by not only ourselves and our own energies, those who care and protect us on both spiritual and astral and physical and mental and emotional realms. All this comes in to help us be more aware of those who are trying to take advantage of what we have to offer and bring. And all that really stems down to is their own fear and insecurity. But that's not our responsibility. We can only be responsible for our own issues. If they choose not to be responsible for theirs, that's on them. As my best man, Chad Diamond Dan, would say, we're sealing the deal. Letting the sacred smoke from the pipe wash over and bless this grid. Bless it in the light of the moon, helping us to recognize the energies coming forward so we can work with them and not against them. There is much coming. And this next month is going to be very interesting. And it's going to be leading into a very interesting end of the year. And we're going to start that first full moon of next year with some very, very intensive energy. And this next year is actually going to be very reminiscent and kind of problematic for people who aren't doing the work they need to be doing. If they're projecting and putting all of their problems onto other people, it's going to karmically bite them in the ass hard. So we need to start working now, surrounding ourselves with those who care, who share that spark, who share that light, who share that warmth. Because when those who don't start losing their hold, their coldness becomes bitter, frozen, and harsh. And we have to combat it with warmth and light and love. Because as much as they feign those things, we know that they don't have them. And if it doesn't work to give them what we have and sharing of ourselves in a way that's not taxing, draining on ourselves, then all we can do is walk away. If your fire can't melt their ice, then their ice doesn't want to be melted. That being said, stay warm these coming months. Keep close those who keep your heart and soul warm. and pay attention to those who don't. Have a wonderful, safe, and healthy lunar cycle. And we'll be seeing you the day after Christmas, or Yule, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't care. Have a good one, and good night.